All right, collective. This is Sheila, your host for Intentional Conversations. I hope you guys are having an amazing night. It is 9:07 on is it Saturday? Today's Saturday? Yes, it is. I hope you guys are having a great evening, and we're going to get right into it, collective. Today, I mentioned I was going to talk about spiritual cyber security. And that's what we're going to talk about today. It's like people are, like I said, this is modern spiritual authority. And this is a little bit about warfare, spiritual warfare. This is going to be said in a, as common professional as I can say it without getting too chaotic with my humor. And so we're going to be talking about cyber spiritual tactics that's happening in the collective right now. And, we have to see how we interpret things. And a lot of stuff that's happening in the collective, if you haven't experienced it, you would think somebody has made it up, that how extreme and bizarre some of these tactics or behaviors are in the current collective right now when it comes into regards of spiritual warfare. And so we're going to be talking about, when psychological suggestion meets technology. Okay. When people want to impersonate data harvesting or use some sort of reputational manipulation to maybe represent themselves as you, or spiritual fight, I call it phishing for your information or your data, and like websites and social media and things like that. And so how can you refrain? How could do you think that it happens in on the internet and technology? And I'm not talking about cyber stalking as human beings. I'm talking about what they do as hackers and how they access your information and how they're finding out information about you to be ahead of you, to do black magic and to create some sort of I call it premeditated warfare against you, collective. Um, Not everything is a curse. Not everything is an obstacle, of course. Now, there's some things that just happen that are natural spiritual cyber hacking. But I've seen targeted organizations and targeted people who have used black magic and have used their spiritual gifts in order to hack into people's computer systems by gaining, of course, they gain spiritual knowledge, which is very rampant out here in the collective. You can find how to hack into systems all day long out here in the collective, on the internet. And so someone is gotten to a point where they have, access to like PayPal, Facebook, Instagram, Gmails, websites like Wix and things like that. And they have learned how to infiltrate your Google email and a password manager and look at all the access of your information, getting your passwords. Some of you probably have multiple different passwords. Some of you use the same password, and they have gained access to your email and are keeping track of, like, if you're getting like your bank statement, keeping track of seeing who's emailing you, going in and probably even emailing people and then probably deleting it. They're probably doing some weird stuff to your email where they either are canceling subscriptions or you're getting fraudulent emails on rampant, so that you can click it and so they can get more access to your system. Someone has ability to override data viruses. Like, how you have a virus protector, someone's using a malware to be able to infiltrate your network, not just your network, but wherever you live network, and infiltrate your laptop and your computer systems, even your phone, to screen and look at all your information, your emails, your data, your personal information, photos, whatever you have going on. Someone has gotten to the point where they have become so secure. In their mind, they're thinking they're an op or strategic. Um, some people who uh, target people are very strategic, or they're trying to be strategic to be in violation of you or trespass against you in a spiritual way. So someone, of course, to me, is the modern times. young people are using social media with their spiritual gifts and the use of black magic to infiltrate people's computer systems. And don't think it hasn't happened because like I said, I'm not going to say anything that I haven't seen or experienced. Just to keep it 100. And of course, I'm going to not say any names and things like that, but I will put out some information of what is happening in the collective, why you can't shake some people off, or why there's such an extreme uh, trespassing in the collective right now. And this is so many of you going through this, and you're not sure how it's happening, even if you have protection. Sometimes that protection isn't enough. And then how are you handling reporting this type of information to like the IC3, internet crime, and things like that? You need to keep photocopies and maybe even learn some cyber technology prevention through YouTube and GitHub to learn how to better like capture somebody's IP address or attempts to your emails and even your website for phishing, them stealing your websites and redirecting traffic to their fraudulent websites, and probably even your social media. So you guys need to, uh, going into the waking age of today's time, people are not just astral projecting into your house and stalking you with remote view and doing divinations on you. They're now going into the point where they're cyber stalking and infiltrating cyber technology and going into spirit networks using spiritual black magic to open themselves up to infiltrate your systems. And I've seen this by numerous people. Like this, it's not one person I've seen. I've seen more than three people use this technique. Okay, so it's not just one person that's doing it. I've seen multiple people use this particular technique where they're interfering with technology. And so, what is going on in the collective is this: it's almost to me is like a skillful energetic manipulation. Two, it's almost to like when somebody's throwing a malware on your system to get infiltrate. It's almost like a spiritual parasite, but it's technology. If you can really see it, you can see it. If not, you're just thinking it's a malware. But a lot of it is not an actual virus, but it's more like a door opener. Again, somebody who trespasses again, you open doors through technology, your cell phone, and all of your data. And they're opening spiritual doors or quote unquote cyber doors into your system and is infiltrating how to work against you in your life with relationships, clients, websites, stealing your stealing your intellectual properties, get your social media and selling this stuff on the market and probably even selling it to clients overseas. Even for myself, I've caught someone who was stalking me since 2024 and collected a whole bunch of information of seeing my material in like people were reciting my stuff, and even actual photos of my t-shirts and things that I've captured, even going back to old days. Like somebody had done a lot of research and have even used my old business names and given it to people. So like I saw someone's website and it was so hilarious because she had my current logo. It was not identical, but it was very much a liking to it. Like it was three triangles. And then I saw she used my current business name with a little tweak. And then she used a old business name all in the same paragraph. I say, oh my God. And she must have figured it out. She was a US person in the US and she must have figured it out because she stopped. Like her business didn't move forward afterwards. But I'm telling you guys, this is how people have been gaining access to your data, and they're thinking they're smart because internet to me is a small world. It's not as big as you think. When you're dealing with overseas clients and things like that, you can be an international clients, and that you're not going to catch up to it or not able to see it. And so there's things like that that I have experienced And I've seen a lot dealing with people who have done a lot of hacking through PayPal and Gmail accounts. So collective, that's what's happening in a sense that someone could be actually remote viewing you nonstop. I caught that. I mean, I think I even posted on my Instagram about pigeons, and I was making jokes as I saw a couple of people actually watching me make my website, and it was talking. I could hear them talking about my website in the astral realm, and it was to the point where um, it's odd. It's a very peculiar behavior. It's something I can't really describe the level of people's uh I don't know if it's jealousy or being vulnerable to gossip. I don't know what I can't really describe the environment, but I do know that it's a very thirsty energy. Okay, if any of y'all know what the word thirsty means, but this is to me is something someone who wants to operate in distractions and holding you back, causing you digital compromise, and also probably also causing you emotional destabilization to destabilize you emotionally out here in the collective. So there's someone who really wants to control you through your cyber, not just through your waking life in the astral realm and your normal everyday life. This is people, everyday people that are gaining this type of knowledge using a lot of emotional. This is somebody who has too much time. This is what I really want to say to the collective. But there is someone out here in the collective that is using their spiritual gifts, using black magic, and doing a lot of astral and remote view to see what you're doing so that they can do this work, do whatever your idea is, steal it or come out with it first. Is giving that kind of environment. It's a very immature energy, a very dangerous energy that someone wants to really be invasive and to disrupt your life so that you cannot prosper and grow. And so this type of stuff, I always tell people you need to monitor because certain things like this, you need to watch the momentum of it. Even if it's 1 to 2 years apart, even if they don't do it as often as you think they do it maybe every 3 months or 4 months, or someone who's been very persistent. For some of you guys in the collective, to probably do it every day. I don't know how they do it, but you need to audit your access points. And that means everybody needs to go and change their passwords to extremely hard passwords, and also delete all of everything in your digital password manager of Gmail. The digital password in Gmail, all of it needs to be wiped out and deleted, and you need to have a manual password keeper, and I highly recommend it. Or you need to get um, it's like a data, it's almost like um a FIOP, a FIOP, where you call it like a little, it's like a little plug-in. You plug it in and it locks your computer from those trying to access your network, and also changing your network password every couple of months and going into Wi-Fi 6 routers. If any of you got Verizon or Comcast, they got their routers, but they don't keep consistent updates on cyber hacking, malware, and bots, things like that. And so I advise everybody to upgrade to a Wi-Fi 6 router. It's not very expensive, and get that. I think everybody, if you see this post, you hear about this post about this podcast, not the post, but my podcast. I advise everybody to, when you have a time, and I say do it sooner than later, to change their access points and make it more challenging for people having access with a lot heavier security, especially if you have a website and a business. Don't just let it be a normal easy access point. Start higher security for people to log into your website. Do higher security on every level of your information on your computer system, and monitor your children's computer activity as well, and ensuring that you have a safe keep email, that all that junk email that people are afraid to click on is just throwing trash in that email, and you're not actually looking at it and accessing it, because I've seen from my own angle a lot of fraudulent websites and a lot of fraudulent emails which have these malware on your computer system. So, right now in the collective, people say, who has that kind of time? These people have, if they're not working and have a job, they do have this kind of time, and they will target those who are elderly or those who has potential in some sort of avenue of finances, or maybe just because I don't know. Sometimes you don't need a reason, but I ask the public to definitely find some discipline sooner than later to get something to update their computer system. I recommend bitdefender.com. However, as every technology, I advise that you guys download it. Use that Bitfinder Ultimate package. That's what I recommend. I'm not getting any affiliate money from this. But at the same time, email like Windows, email uh, your Wix website, email Bitdefender, and ask them to ensure that you have the latest update um, to their services and software, because there's always a loophole, and there's people who are dedicated to finding those loopholes and report every single activity. I don't care how minute it is, or but find every single activity, screenshot it, and send it to IC3.com. And so if a lot of you in the collective are going through spiritual warfare, you say, Sheila, well, how this ties in to spiritual warfare? If there's a group of people or an individual who has taken the time out to pay people or do this to them, to do this to you, they're using a lot of strategic spiritual warfare and gaining data from you so that they can block whatever you have coming in. If you have a meeting at your job, they could attack you during they can send spiritual attacks right at the point of your job interview. They can send spiritual attacks right at the point of you having meetings at work, causing glitches, causing internet issues, causing you not to have the momentum to hit your goals and things like that. Okay, so somebody wants to destabilize you, they can do this by finding out all of your information through your emails, through your website, about how much money you're making, what's in your bank account, and use that as a way to taunt some sort of access to your information. Maybe even use credit cards and order credit cards, loans, and things like that with your data. Okay. Um, yeah, so I will advise people to really start checking their credit reports, start looking into information in regards to what's happening in the collective. I advise a lot of you to really start looking heavily, if you have a business and multiple businesses, to really look into your data, look into what's been tapped on your credit report, and really start looking into, even not to click on the emails, but start scanning what kind of information is coming in your email box, what's odd, what's unusual. If you're having any revelations in dreams, write it down. If you're finding something like you open up your computer and there's someone having access to your password or the password reminder, and it's all open up on your screen, and you remember shutting everything down the night before, screenshot all of that and screenshot. If you even do your own research on how to figure out who's doing this to you and stuff like that. I say definitely do not confront the individual, but definitely screenshot as much information into one report and send it to i3c.com. And don't always to people, don't always be very straight to the point what kind of virus it is, what information was showing. If you have a screenshot, even better. Keep record, even if it's no screenshots, keep record of what you feel has been tampered with, and go into your system and screenshot like last activity, especially Facebook. Facebook is very good at that, of who was last, what location it may have been, and who may have gained access to your information. Even logging into your iMacBook. If any of you guys who have a Windows or an Apple, there's plenty of information. If you got a young person, or if you're like me, studious, you can go on a lot of websites to find out how people are infiltrating you, and learning how to up your security and buying certain things. I recommend a lot of you get the Wi-Fi 6 And if you're having serious problems, there is going on Amazon.com, there is a little data blockers where you can stick into your laptop, cutting your computer off every night, and also maybe even cutting off your router at night if someone is really persistent and you're really afraid of your information being sold, stolen, or being copied out in the collective. This gives you some added protection in the collective, especially if you're a spiritual healer or, I call it, like healers and coaches like me who are not big time, but your information is just as important as a corporation. Okay, collective. Um, what else? Yeah, that's what I'm seeing in the collective. I think people need to start attentively paying attention and increasing their security systems. I feel like especially for females and women out here, there is some strange activity from men who has been pursuing women in the spirit. I have to say this, and it's kind of creepy. To do your best in getting what do you call it? Those door cameras, but getting the one in the front and the back door, I think it's highly recommended you get cameras, collective, because this is technology as well, and start getting cameras for your front and back doors. And I feel like females, especially females, men too, but females especially starting to have a notebook by your desk and just start recording information, even if it's small and minute, about what's going on with your system, your computer system, what data was hacked, even if it's just a dream or an inkling or intuition, start writing it down because later on you could get a phone call, or if you're getting strange mail, things like that, or notifications about things, start to keep and collect that data just in case for the future. Okay, collective? Take notes, check your security settings, not just on anything, but everything, and delete your password manager from your Gmail account. Delete that. And definitely, if you get to hear this podcast today, recommend changing anything with Cash App, PayPal, especially PayPal. I don't use PayPal, so thank God for that. But I will definitely say everybody needs to do some serious praying and patching of your data. Someone is definitely using their spiritual abilities and using black magic in order to infiltrate your, I'll call it spiritual trespass, but now they're adding technology to continue to spiritually trespass again you on a deeper level so that they can still infiltrate and block blessings through black magic or just a form of harassment and torment out there in the collective. Share this with your community. It is happening. A lot of you will be so surprised how easy it is to infiltrate a laptop and to go through all of your information. And then you're thinking someone is actually psychic to only find out that they have hacked your system to find out all about your life, and you're thinking they're intuitive and this witty and magical person, to come find out this is a charlatan. This is somebody who's actually stealing information and learning about you through the system to gain some sort of advantage. And it's spiritual abuse, and it's loud. And so I just want to share this with the community that you guys, in short, it's just not about doing, but listening. I hope you listen effectively. And this is about you leveling up and protecting yourself and not being um naive. These people, things are happening in the real world, spiritual activity that you wouldn't think someone would have that kind of time, and they do have the time, collective. And so this is not to scare you, but this is definitely for those with weak cybersecurity. Keep working on it. You cannot conquer everything in a day, but keep persistently work on protecting your information and data, and audit your access points of how people are getting into your computer, how people are getting into your emails and laptops. And I'm talking about just entering your laptop, not just having your laptop up, but entering it and on your network and then infiltrating your system. That is happening out there, and there are some people who are doing it through remote view, through astral projection, and they're using black magic, especially to get ahead in their own path against you. Okay, so this is real spiritual warfare. Use your discernment. add in your discipline so that you can overcome these challenges that someone's trying to place against you with these cyber interferences. And someone could also use find out your phone information and call you. A lot of people don't understand that too. I want to put this out here before I leave. That somebody could be calling you consistently heavy. Every time you look, there's a phone call calling you 10 to 15 minutes, or every 30 to 20 minutes. Someone is persistently heavily calling you back to back to back. Keep record of those phone calls and how many times they call and where they're calling you from. Those two is also a form of cyber harassment and cyber interferences that someone could be doing, as well as constantly calling you from different locations or numbers on a regular schedule, like a robocall. That is also another spiritual tactic that I've seen out here in the collective as well. And in regards to in this now, so you guys make sure that you use all the momentum to continue to protect yourselves. You're not cursed, but there's people who are using these things to use this in a way of spiritual warfare. And I don't want you to be exposed, but I want you to walk out this podcast learning how to protect yourself and also not underestimating the enemy. Um, Keep yourself prayed up. Pray over your systems. Pray over your computer every night. There is some more information I do have about what people have done, and I will say it right now because why not? I keep thinking of another idea that someone did. Somebody can also astral project and imprint on your data. So I actually had this happen to me before I leave this collective today with this podcast. I actually had someone, I happened to wake up one night and I was decided to get back on my computer and I had this oddest feeling. It was like I could feel like a portal open and it was right on my computer and I could feel something come through like the monitor. So I had to start blessing my data, my laptop and my cell phone, because someone has placed a hex over my laptop and cell phone. So as I was looking at it, it was kind of draining my energy. This is again is a sign of energy harvesting collective. And I will strongly suggest that the collective learn how to do spiritual protection over yourself when you go to work. If some of you guys are in the office, you're having a lot of issues at work, I'm advising you now to start protecting yourself in your car. When you walk to your computer desk, protect your space in prayer. If you have a little shot of holy water, bless nicely, wipe your screen monitors, wipe your computer before you leave, wipe it before you use it, and do the same to your cell phone, or have Florida water to wipe your system and keep that negative energy off. If someone's very persistent, they can literally hack your data. I mean your laptop and computer pretty much every day, all night. And you need to learn how to break curses off your computer systems and break curses off of your cell phone. These people, you say, sure, that cannot be happening. I'm not joking, collective. I'm not joking. Modern spiritual authority. I'm not joking. You wonder why you keep having issues. I'm like, I see why you're having issues. Your computer hacks, and I see why you're having issues. Again, if there's any Christians out there or anybody who has a church or anything like that, I hope they use this information as an awareness for their services, like as they're preaching about how deep the devil extension. I can't even blame the devil. It's just people who are walking in this very demonic spirit. And so, yes, you need to learn spiritual cyber security collective. And I hope this helped. And yes, I will have more information about cyber spiritual security on my website. If you need help, you can email me or book a session. I'll be very, abrupt in what's happening to you and things like that. So definitely protect yourself, pray over everything, and many blessings. If you have any questions about this podcast, email me and we can, have a discussion about it. If not, all is well. And I will have more information about spiritual cybersecurity in the coming days. So other than that, I hope you have a great night. And yes, I'm posting this right now. Have a great one. Bye-bye.